How's it going, guys? It's your boy Hermes back here one more time with another video, and today we're gonna go through Greek gods that exist in real life. And by that I mean people that actually exist or have existed on Earth that have similar powers or something close to Greek gods but aren't really gods, but have similar powers but not the same as Greek gods. So do remember the word similar. Zeus, Olympian god. Zeus is eventually the king of all gods in Greek mythology and is one of the 12 Olympians. He is also the god of thunder, lightning and the skies. His main weapon is the thunderbolt and he uses that to cause lightning and thunder in the skies. He was known to cheat a lot on his love partners. He lives on top of Mount Olympus and actually once he gave birth to his favorite daughter Athena from the top of his head, like he just came out from the top of his head. Crazy, yeah. But now guys, the real life version of Zeus is a guy called Roy Cleveland Sullivan. He was born in 1912 and he was a park ranger in Virginia, USA. Between 1942 and 1977, Roy eventually got struck by lightning 7 times and actually survived all of them. And he only got scars from them. That's crazy, innit? But sadly guys, he killed himself with a gunshot to his head in 1983 due to some love problems. And listen here guys, the chances of someone getting hit by lightning 7 times is super low, and to survive them is even lower. So we can kind of say that he was like the human version of Zeus, and he also was known as the human lightning conductor. Poseidon, Olympian god. Poseidon was eventually the Greek god of the seas and earthquakes. He was known to have a very bad temper and was angry quite a lot of times. His favorite weapon was a trident and it was like some kind of spear. He eventually used his trident to eventually strike the ground, which then would have caused earthquakes. And listen here guys, he also had a palace underneath the ocean and he used to go around on a chariot pulled by horses. His human equivalent are actually 2. The first one is a guy named Alex Segura. He was born in 1986 and is a Spanish multiple world champion freediver. He eventually holds the record for being able to hold his breath underwater for 24.3 minutes, which he achieved in 2016. The other one is Michael Phelps. Born in 1985, he was an American swimmer and the most successful Olympian of all time with 28 Olympic medals. He eventually holds the records for most Olympic gold medals won, which he won 23 of them. The men's 100-meter butterfly, 200-meter butterfly, and 400-meter individual medley. He eventually won 82 other medals in other major sports events, and 65 of them were gold. He was eventually nominated the most successful athlete in the Olympics 4 times in a row. And we can say that he is often considered the greatest swimmer of all time. Medusa, Gorgon. Medusa was eventually a really horrible creature or gorgon who had poisonous and dangerous snakes as her hair. Also, whoever looked at her eyes directly would turn into stone instantly. Medusa eventually had 2 sisters which were immortal, but she was the only one that was mortal. Eventually a hero named Perseus eventually killed her and chopped off her head, and then he used her head as a weapon for himself to fight others. A legend actually says that Medusa eventually wandered for some time in Africa and some small snakes actually fell off from her hair, and that's why there are so many snakes in Africa. Okay, now the human equivalent of Medusa. Obviously, I don't know anyone that has snakes as their hair, but I do know some people that can do, really weird things with snakes. So the person I'm talking about is a guy called Snake Manu. So Snake Manu is an Indian guy who is 31 and he eventually makes a living by actually inserting snakes up his nostrils and actually pulling them out from his mouth. And he says that he tried doing this stunt multiple times using cobras and sandboas. And he also says that he was actually bitten multiple times whilst inserting snakes up his nose, but he ignores the pains and keeps carrying on. Holy fucking hell, that guy actually put snakes up his fucking nose. God damn it. He might not be Medusa, but I think that is something close maybe. Athena, Olympian god. Athena was eventually the Greek goddess of war and wisdom. She was eventually born from Zeus's head after he suffered a headache and asked Hephaestus to cut his head in half, and suddenly she just popped out of it. Like, what the fuck, man? She was also Zeus's favorite child. She was compassionate and had lots of generosity, and her symbol was the owl. Zeus trusted her to carry his lightning bolts and Aegis. Now, the human equivalent of Athena is not just one person, it's actually a group of people, and that group of people is called YPJ. The Women's Protection Unit, or YPJ, is an all-female militia actively fighting in northern Syria against ISIS. This small army eventually consists of Kurdish women fighting against ISIS, which are now gone, in order to save trapped civilians and people that are stuck in those areas. The size of this army is about 5,000 women. They do actually have good weaponry, such as assault rifles and trucks that have a machine gun mounted at the back. So at the end, we can say that they are quite a skilled and quite good army to be fighting against or with. Ares, Olympian god. Ares was eventually the Greek god of war and one of Zeus's son, and he actually hated his son. Ares wasn't liked by other gods and mortals as he was deemed to be a coward. He was also in a shady relationship with Aphrodite, who was actually married to Hephaestus. His symbol was the vulture. Ares most of the time was wearing a helmet and carrying a spear, and actually he was the father of 3 of Hercules' enemies. Now people that are something close to Ares are actually 2, and I bet you guys know them all. Hitler. Hitler was eventually born in 1889, and he was the leader of Germany and the Nazi Party. Hitler was involved in lots of military operations during his leadership in Germany. Hitler was eventually the main cause of the Holocaust and World War II. The Holocaust eventually caused the death of 11 million people, which included 6 million Jews and 11 million other races. And World War II eventually caused the death of 80 million people. Osama bin Laden. Born in 1957, Osama bin Laden was a Saudi Arabian, and he was the most famous terrorist in the world and the founder of Al-Qaeda, the terrorist group. Osama bin Laden eventually came from a very wealthy and rich Saudi Arabian family that worth millions. He was eventually responsible for lots of terrorist attacks, but most famously 9/11, where about 3,000 people died when 4 planes actually struck buildings across America, but mainly the Twin Towers. And eventually that caused him to be the most wanted man in the world, with a bounty on his head of $25 million for anyone that finds him. Bin Laden was eventually found in 2011 somewhere in Pakistan, and he got shot by the US Army, and his body was actually thrown into the ocean and never seen again. Hermes, Olympian god. Wait, hold on a minute. Did I say fucking Hermes? No, it's meant to be Hermes. Hey, oh you fucking dickhead. Why are you robbing my name for, man? I have to fucking fuck your mom, nigga. Bitch. It's actually, why is his name Hermes, man? Why is my name Hermes? Why you fucking little fucking rattle? But anyway, yeah, I think the only option now, because Hermes and Hermes sound the same, the only option now, yeah, is to share the godly powers. So I can consider myself the god of darkness, and he can fuck off and consider himself the Olympian god. So we are both happy together. But yeah, Hermes, Olympian god. Hermes was eventually the messenger of the gods and the guide to the underworld. Hermes was quite agile, young and fast, and was able to move between the mortal and the immortal world quite easily. Hermes was considered to be a trickster due to his clever personality. He also was one of Zeus's sons. Hermes was eventually born in a cave on a mountain in Arcadia. Now, the human equivalent of Hermes, which is not me, Hermes, I wish, is actually Usain Bolt. Born in 1986, Usain Bolt was a Jamaican sprinter who holds a record for the fastest 100 meters, 200 meters, and 4 times 100 meters relay. He eventually has 9 or 8 Olympic gold medals. Usain Bolt is actually known to be the fastest man in the world with a speed of around 44 kilometers per hour or 27 miles per hour, and is considered to be one of the greatest sprinters of all time. And listen here guys, weirdly his victory pose was doing some kind of lightning pose, which is mental. Well, that's it for today guys. I just gave you a small list of Greek gods that exist in real life, or actually people that have similar powers to Greek gods and that exist in real life. So I hope you guys enjoyed. So if you did, feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon with another video. So adios.